My name is Emma, and I just turned 20. For as long as I can remember, it's been me and my mom, Lydia, against the world. She raised me in a small house with blue curtains and a rose garden, and she loved me so much I never doubted her for a second. She always told me I was her miracle. That's why it felt so special when she gave me a birthday gift this year. A necklace, shining silver with a little heart. I held it close to my chest, breathing in the familiar lavender smell of her hugs. "It's yours, sweetheart," she said with tears in her eyes. I smiled, touched. But then I turned the necklace over. There were letters on the back. MB. I blinked. "Mom, what does MB mean?" I asked. She froze. Just for a second, her eyes darted away. Then she smiled again, too quickly. "Oh, it's just an old design," she lied. I could tell because she started fussing with the cake candles, like she didn't want to talk about it. That night, I lay awake, turning the necklace over and over in my hand. MB. Who was that? Those letters didn't match Lydia's name at all. And there was something else. Something that gave me chills. When she was putting away the wrapping paper, I saw her slip a little baby bracelet into a drawer. I only caught a glance, but it was pink, with letters printed on it. Blake. That didn't make sense. My last name was Thomas, like Lydia's. Why would a bracelet say Blake? I tried to forget it. I really did. I even told myself, maybe she bought it secondhand. But a voice deep in my chest was whispering something scary. What if she's hiding something? I couldn't stand the worry, so the next morning I went back to that drawer while Lydia was gardening. My heart was pounding. I pulled it open and saw the tiny pink bracelet again, with faded writing. Emma Blake. My name. But not my name? I dropped it, my hands shaking so hard I almost fell over. Emma Blake? That was me, wasn't it? But how could my name be Blake if I was Emma Thomas? When Lydia came back inside, I tried to act normal. My head was spinning. I even laughed at her garden jokes, but inside I felt sick. That night I went online and typed Emma Blake into the search box. I wasn't expecting anything, but a news story popped up, old and yellowed looking. It showed a woman with tears on her cheeks holding a picture of a baby. Kidnapped. Baby Emma Blake stolen from hospital 20 years ago. Mother pleads for answers. I couldn't breathe. My eyes went fuzzy. The date matched my birthday. The baby looked just like me. Same chubby cheeks, same dark eyes. I felt like the floor was breaking under me. I read the story again and again. It said the baby was taken right after birth. The mother's name was Margaret Blake. MB. The initials on the necklace. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. Everything felt wrong. Lydia, my mom, the woman who kissed my scraped knees and braided my hair, had a look on her face lately, like she was scared of losing me. Was that why? Was it because she had stolen me? I kept staring at the news article until my eyes hurt. 20 years. All those memories of birthday cakes, bedtime stories, lullabies. Were they even real? My hands were shaking as I looked at the baby bracelet one more time. It was mine. It had to be. When Lydia came to tuck me in, she kissed my forehead, gentle like always. But I felt cold all over. "Good night, sweetheart," she whispered. "Good night," I mumbled. Inside, I wanted to ask her, "Did you steal me?" But my lips couldn't say it. I turned to the wall, clutching the necklace. Tears dripped down my cheek. I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know if Lydia was really my mom, or just a stranger who stole me from a family I never knew. And worst of all, I didn't know how I was supposed to go on loving someone who might have lied to me every single day of my life. Before we dive fully in, don't forget to subscribe for more shocking stories about family secrets and unbelievable twists. Hit the bell so you never miss the next chapter of this incredible true-like tale. You won't want to miss what happens next. The next morning, everything felt wrong. I sat at the kitchen table stirring my cereal, but I couldn't even taste it. Lydia was humming while she folded laundry, like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. I kept hearing that name in my head. Emma Blake. Over and over. I tried to look at Lydia the way I always had, as my sweet, caring mom. But whenever I saw her, I remembered the baby bracelet and the news story with the crying woman who called herself my real mother. My hands were sweaty, even though it wasn't hot. "Are you okay, honey?" Lydia asked, glancing at me. I jumped. "Yeah, fine." She raised one eyebrow. "You look pale." "I'm fine," I repeated, even though I was shaking. She came over and put her hand on my head like she was checking for fever. That used to make me feel safe, but now it made me want to run away. That afternoon, when Lydia went to the store, I hurried back to the computer. I needed to know more. I typed in Margaret Blake and a bunch of stories came up. Mother never gave up hope. Blake family still searching for kidnapped daughter after 20 years. One article showed a picture of Margaret. She had kind brown eyes and hair like mine. I zoomed in on the photo, searching her face for something familiar. A strange ache filled my heart. Was this really my mom? There was a phone number at the bottom of the page, a tip line. My hands trembled so badly I could barely dial. When a woman answered, I almost hung up. Hello? I stammered. I might be Emma Blake." Silence. Then she spoke, very soft. "Sweetheart, where are you?" I panicked and slammed the phone down. My heart pounded so loud it hurt. What if Lydia found out I called them? I tried to calm myself down. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe there was an explanation. But deep down, I didn't believe that. Later that night, I was brushing my teeth when I heard Lydia on the phone in the living room. "I have to keep her safe," she was whispering. "She can never know. Never." My heart stopped. She was hiding something. I shut the bathroom door and leaned against it, breathing hard. Part of me wanted to run right then and there. But where would I go? I didn't know these Blake people. I didn't know if they would even want me after all this time. The next day at school, I couldn't focus. I kept replaying Lydia's voice in my head. She can never know. What did she mean? Keep me safe. Safe from who? From the truth? My friend Tara noticed I was out of it. "Hey, Emma, you okay?" she asked. I forced a smile. "Yeah, just tired." She shrugged and went back to her math homework, but I couldn't think about numbers. All I could think about was my mom, or the woman I thought was my mom, lying to me. That night, I decided to do something brave. I ordered a DNA kit online. It felt scary, like I was betraying Lydia, but I had to know. The website said it would take 2 weeks to get results. 2 weeks felt like forever. I hid the kit under my bed and went to brush my teeth, trying to act normal. Lydia was reading on the couch, smiling like everything was fine. "Good night, sweetheart," she called. "Good night," I said, my voice small. In bed, I hugged my pillow and tried to stop the tears. I remembered Lydia singing me lullabies, holding my hand when I was sick, making my Halloween costumes every year. Could someone who did all that really steal me? I wanted to believe she loved me. Maybe she did love me. But why would she lie? The clock ticked so loud in the dark, I felt like it was counting down to the day the DNA results would come. And when that day came, I knew my whole world would change. Forever. The days after I sent the DNA test felt endless. Every morning I woke up, checked my email, and felt my stomach drop when there was nothing. I tried to act normal around Lydia. I still called her mom. I still let her hug me. But inside, I felt like a robot. My brain was full of buzzing questions. I didn't even feel like myself anymore. Sometimes I thought, what if the test is wrong? What if I'm really her daughter after all? But the pink baby bracelet kept flashing through my mind. And that name, Emma Blake, followed me everywhere. One night, Lydia made spaghetti, my favorite. She smiled so wide it almost hurt to look at her. "You've been quiet lately," she said, handing me a plate. "Are you sure you're okay?" I forced a nod. "Yeah, just busy." Her eyes narrowed. "Busy with what?" I looked down. "School stuff." I couldn't tell if she believed me. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand, her voice low. Emma, you know you can tell me anything, right? For a second, I wanted to spill everything. I wanted to ask, did you steal me? But my tongue froze. Instead, I swallowed hard and nodded. I know. That night, I had a nightmare. I was a baby, reaching for someone's arms, but a shadowy figure picked me up and carried me away. I woke up crying, clutching the necklace so hard it hurt my fingers. 2 weeks later, the email finally came. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped my phone. I took a deep breath and clicked. Match found. 99.9% to Margaret Blake. My chest went cold. I couldn't breathe. It felt like my whole body was falling apart. Margaret Blake was my mother. My real mother. Lydia had stolen me. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. My heart was pounding so loud I thought Lydia would hear it through the walls. When I came out, she was standing there, folding towels. You look sick, she said. I'm fine, I lied, voice cracking. She stared at me like she could see straight through my skin. You're hiding something, she whispered. I froze. She stepped closer, her eyes scary and cold, so different from the mom I thought I knew. What are you hiding, Emma? My throat closed up. Nothing. She grabbed my shoulders. Don't lie to me. I tried to pull away, but she held me tight, breathing hard. Mom, you're hurting me, I yelled. She let go and stepped back, covering her mouth. Her hands were shaking. I'm sorry, she whispered, tears in her eyes. I can't lose you. I ran to my room and slammed the door. My heart was racing. I could hear her crying through the wall. I didn't know what to do. Should I run? Should I call the police? Should I tell Margaret Blake? I sat on my bed, hugging my knees. The only thing I was sure of was that I couldn't stay here forever. Lydia might love me, in her own twisted way, but she lied to me for 20 years. She stole my whole life. And now I was scared she might steal it again if I tried to leave. I hid the DNA results under my mattress. If Lydia found them, I didn't know what she would do. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Lydia's face, sad and desperate. I also saw Margaret's face from the news story, full of hope. Which one was my real mom? In the morning, Lydia acted like nothing happened. She made pancakes and hummed, but I could see the fear in her eyes. She was watching me. I knew then I couldn't wait. I had to do something before she figured out what I knew. I took a deep breath, picked up my phone, and typed a message to the tip line from the old news story. My name is Emma Blake. I'm alive. Then I pressed send. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Lydia was still in the kitchen, but everything felt like it was about to explode. And deep in my heart, I knew that my whole world was about to change. Forever. The message I sent to the tip line stayed in my mind all day. I felt like I was going to throw up every time I thought about it. Would someone write back? Would they believe me? I kept checking my phone over and over, even hiding it under my pillow so Lydia wouldn't see. Every time she walked by, I held my breath. That evening, my phone buzzed. It was a new number. Emma, this is Detective Harris. Are you safe? My hands went cold. A detective. It was real. I typed fast, barely breathing. I'm safe. I can't talk now. She's here. He wrote back, we will help you. Stay calm. My chest hurt so much it felt like it might break. I tried to act normal when Lydia knocked on my door. Sweetheart, want to help me make dinner? She asked, too sweet, like she was trying too hard. Sure, I lied. We made chicken and rice, the way I liked it. She kept giving me these little glances, like she was trying to read my mind. I couldn't stand it. While I chopped onions, she touched my arm. Emma, is there something you need to tell me? I almost dropped the knife. No, I squeaked. Her smile faded. You're lying. My knees felt weak. She stepped closer. I know you're hiding something. I saw you on your phone. My heart slammed against my ribs. I tried to step back, but she grabbed my wrist, squeezing it too hard. "Who did you call?" she hissed. I couldn't breathe. "No one." She shook me, tears pouring down her face. "Tell me. Please, Emma, don't leave me." I pulled free and ran to my room, slamming the door. I locked it, shaking so hard I thought I'd fall over. Outside, she was pounding on the door. "Emma, open this door. We can talk, please. I love you." I pressed my hands over my ears. This wasn't my mom anymore. This was someone else, someone dangerous. I texted Detective Harris again. "She's scaring me. I don't know what to do." He replied right away. "Stay calm. We will come for you soon." I didn't know how long soon would be. Lydia was still yelling, her voice cracking like glass. After a while, everything went quiet. I was too scared to move. Then I heard a key turning in the lock. My stomach flipped. I had forgotten she had a master key. The door swung open, and there she was, red-eyed, breathing hard. "Emma," she sobbed, coming closer. "Please, don't leave me. I need you." I backed up until I hit the wall. "You stole me," I whispered. Her face went white. "I saved you," she cried. "They didn't want you. They were going to ruin you. I had to protect you." I shook my head. "That's not true. They loved me." Her hands flew to her face. "They would have hurt you. I gave you a better life." I couldn't believe her. My heart hurt so badly I wanted to scream. She reached for me and I flinched. "Don't touch me," I said, my voice small. That seemed to break something inside her. She started crying so loud it made my skin crawl. "I did everything for you," she wailed. "How can you hate me?" I didn't answer. I didn't even know what to feel. She fell to the floor sobbing and I ran past her out the door. I grabbed my phone and keys. I had to get out. As I tried to leave, she grabbed my ankle and pulled me down. "Don't go," she screamed. I kicked free and ran out of the house into the night, barefoot, my heart thudding like crazy. I didn't know where to go, but I ran anyway. Down the sidewalk, under the streetlights, until I reached a gas station. I hid behind a trash bin, shaking. My phone buzzed again. "Emma, this is Detective Harris. Tell me where you are." I typed as fast as I could, tears falling on the screen. "By the gas station on Green Road," he answered. "Stay there, we're coming." I curled up in a ball, hugging my knees, feeling so small. I had nowhere else to go. I had no idea what would happen next. But I knew one thing for sure. I could never go back home again. I sat by that gas station for what felt like forever, hugging my knees and shaking in the cold night air. Every car that passed made me jump. I was scared Lydia would come after me, that she'd drag me back home. Finally, I saw a police car pull up, its lights flashing. I stood up slowly, heart pounding. A man in a suit stepped out. He looked kind but serious. "Emma?" he asked. I nodded, my throat too tight to speak. "I'm Detective Harris," he said softly. "You're safe now." I wanted to believe him, but my chest was tight and full of fear. He offered me a warm blanket, and I held onto it like a lifeline. "Can we take you somewhere safe?" he asked. I whispered, "Please." He nodded and helped me into the car. Everything after that felt like a dream. They took me to the police station where I sat under bright lights while people asked me questions. My mind was foggy, and I couldn't answer much. I just kept thinking of Lydia's face, crying, angry, begging me not to leave. After a while, Detective Harris came back with a kind smile. "Emma," he said gently, "your real family is on their way." My heart nearly stopped. My family?" He nodded. "Your mother, Margaret Blake. She's been waiting 20 years to see you." 20 years. That was my whole life. I felt dizzy. A little later, a woman walked through the door, her eyes red and full of hope. Her hair was pulled back neatly, but her hands were shaking. When she saw me, she gasped, like she couldn't breathe. "Emma," she whispered. I froze. I knew that face. I'd seen it in old news articles, in the photo that haunted me. I nodded, too scared to say anything. Tears rolled down her cheeks and she rushed forward, hugging me so tight it hurt. "My baby," she sobbed. "My baby girl." I felt stiff at first, but then something broke inside me. I started crying too, shaking in her arms. It was like a part of me had been missing my whole life, and now it had found its way back. She pulled back to look at me, touching my hair like she couldn't believe I was real. "You're safe now," she promised. "I'll never let anyone hurt you again." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But I was so confused. The police told me I could stay with her if I wanted, or go to a safe house. I didn't know what to choose, but Margaret squeezed my hand. "Please come home with me," she begged softly. "Your father and brother are waiting. They want you to be with us." My father. My brother. I could hardly believe those words. A family I never knew. In the end, I agreed. I didn't want to be alone. The ride to their house was quiet, Margaret never letting go of my hand. When we got there, it was huge. A beautiful brick house with big windows and flowers everywhere. Way fancier than Lydia's little place. A man stood on the porch with a boy who looked about 16. The man's face was kind, but sad, like he'd carried heartbreak for a long time. The boy looked at me with wide eyes, unsure. Margaret whispered, "That's your dad, Richard, and your brother, Caleb." Richard stepped forward first. His hands were shaking as he pulled me into a hug, trying not to crush me. "Welcome home," he said, voice breaking. Caleb hung back a little, then stepped closer. "Hi," he said softly, like he was afraid I'd disappear. I managed a small smile. "Hi." Margaret led me inside, showing me a pretty bedroom with soft blue walls. It looked like a room for a princess, way more than I ever had with Lydia. I sat on the bed feeling like I was floating. Everything was so perfect. Too perfect. They tried to talk to me about the future, but I couldn't hear them clearly. All I could think about was Lydia. Where was she now? Was she angry? Was she crying? A part of me still missed her. That felt wrong, but it was true. Later, as I lay under the fancy blankets, Margaret kissed my forehead like a real mom. "Sleep well, sweetheart," she whispered. I tried to smile, but I was shaking inside. How was I supposed to forget 20 years of loving the woman who raised me, even if she had stolen me? I thought staying with the Blakes would bring peace. It didn't. The house was beautiful, yes. Sunlight poured through tall windows and soft rugs covered the floors. Margaret cooked breakfast every morning, and Caleb tried to make me laugh by doing silly dances. Richard, my biological dad, left little notes outside my door. "Hope today feels a little easier." But nothing felt easy. Not when my whole life had been flipped upside down. At night, I stared at the ceiling and wondered where Lydia was. Was she locked up? Was she out there watching me? I hadn't heard anything from her. No calls, no messages. That scared me more than if she had. I didn't know if I missed her or feared her. Maybe both. One morning, I found Caleb pacing by the front window. He looked nervous. "What's wrong?" I asked. He hesitated, then pointed. "That car's been parked across the street since yesterday." I looked. A beat-up silver sedan sat near the curb. The windows were tinted. My stomach dropped. Lydia had a car just like that. Margaret called the police, and they said they'd send a patrol car to check it out. But by the time the officer arrived, the car was gone. That night, I couldn't sleep. I locked my bedroom door and shoved a chair under the knob. I told myself I was just being paranoid. Until I saw the note. It was slipped under my door. A single sheet of paper with shaky handwriting. "You're not safe there. They'll never love you like I do. Come home." I screamed. Margaret and Richard rushed in. I showed them the note, and Richard's face went pale. "This means she's been inside the house," he said in a low voice. My knees buckled. She had been here. Inside this home. So close. The police came again. this time with a detective who promised they'd add surveillance and file a restraining order. But I knew Lydia. She didn't care about rules. The next day, Margaret didn't let me leave the house. "Until we're sure it's safe," she said. I nodded, even though I felt like a prisoner all over again. Later that afternoon, the doorbell rang. Margaret checked the peephole, then gasped. "It's her." Before anyone could stop me, I ran to the window. Lydia stood on the porch, hair messy, eyes wild. She was holding something. A baby photo. My baby photo. "Emma!" she called out, her voice breaking. "I need to talk to you." Margaret grabbed my arm. "Do not go out there." But I couldn't move. I was frozen in place. "Please," Lydia cried, "don't let them take you from me. They don't love you like I do. They never searched for you, not the way I did. You're mine." I felt like the room was spinning. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Lydia backed away, still yelling. "I raised you. I fed you. I held you when you cried. That has to count for something." Then she was gone. The officers chased her, but I don't know if they caught her. I sat on the floor, shaking, my head in my hands. Margaret knelt beside me. "You're safe now," she whispered, rocking me gently. But I didn't feel safe. I felt broken. The woman who stole me still believed I was hers. The woman who gave birth to me was a stranger trying to love me. And me? I didn't know who I was anymore. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared out the window, waiting to see that silver car again, waiting to hear her voice in the dark. She had raised me, lied to me, loved me. And now, she wasn't going to let me go without a fight. After Lydia showed up at the house, everything changed. The Blakes put stronger locks on the doors and even hired a guard to stay outside. But no matter what they did, I didn't feel safe. My heart was still a mess. Sometimes I found myself missing Lydia so badly I could hardly breathe. I hated her for stealing me, but I also missed her bedtime stories, her gentle hands fixing my hair, her voice when she called me sweetheart. One night I found Margaret in the kitchen, crying. She tried to hide it, but I saw the tears on her face. "Mom?" I said softly, testing the word on my tongue. It felt strange, but right. She looked up, surprised. "Yes, sweetheart? Are you okay?" She shook her head, wiping her cheeks. I'm so angry she took you from me. All those years, wondering if you were alive. And now she's trying to steal you again." Hearing that made my chest hurt. "She thinks I'm hers," I whispered. Margaret sighed and came over, hugging me. "You are mine. You always were. She took you from me, Emma. You never belonged to her." I nodded, even though my heart still didn't fully believe it. 2 days later, the police finally caught Lydia. I found out because Detective Harris came to the house. "She was arrested near a bus station," he told me, "carrying photos of you and a one-way ticket out of town." My knees almost gave out. Margaret held me steady. "She's in custody now," the detective continued. "She can't hurt you anymore." I should have felt relief. Instead, I felt empty. I asked if I could see her. Margaret's eyes went wide. "Emma, no, why would you?" "I need answers," I said. "I need to hear the truth from her." After a long talk, Margaret finally agreed. The next day, we went to the jail. Seeing Lydia there behind a glass window shattered me. She looked smaller, older, and so tired. Her hair was messy and her eyes were puffy from crying. When she saw me, she reached for the glass. "Emma," she whispered, her voice breaking. I didn't know what to say. I just stared. "Why?" I finally choked out. "Why did you do it?" She swallowed hard, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I lost a baby once, a little girl. She died, and I couldn't bear the emptiness. When I saw you in that hospital crib alone, I couldn't stop myself. You were perfect. You were what I needed." Her words cut through me like knives. "You took me from my real family," I said, my voice shaking. "You lied to me my entire life." "I loved you," she sobbed. I gave you everything. I made you happy, didn't I? Wasn't I a good mother? My heart hurt so bad I thought it might stop. You were, but it was all built on a lie. She pressed her forehead against the glass. Please, Emma, don't hate me. I only ever wanted to love you. Tears blurred my vision. I don't hate you, I whispered, but I can't ever come back to you. Her shoulders slumped. She looked so lost. Goodbye, Mom, I said softly, and it felt like my soul was tearing apart. Margaret pulled me away before I could collapse. Outside the jail, I broke down. Margaret held me as I cried until there were no tears left. That night, back at the Blake house, I stood in front of the mirror. I saw my face, the face of a girl who didn't know which world she belonged to. Margaret came in and rested a hand on my shoulder. Emma, she said gently, you're home now. I nodded, even though the word home felt complicated. I had two mothers, one who gave me life and one who raised me in stolen love. And I had no idea how to ever make my heart choose between them. Life in the Blake house felt like living in a story that didn't belong to me. Margaret tried so hard to make me feel welcome. She cooked my favorite foods, even though she didn't really know what those were yet. Richard brought me flowers for my room, and Caleb tried to teach me video games to make me laugh. It was sweet, but I felt like a guest, not a daughter. At night, I would lie in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about Lydia in jail. Sometimes I wanted to talk to her again, even though I knew I shouldn't. Other times I was so angry I wanted to scream. One afternoon, Margaret knocked softly on my door. Emma, sweetheart, would you like to see some family photos? I nodded, even though my stomach flipped. She sat next to me on the bed with a huge photo album. The first picture was a newborn baby in a pink blanket. That's you, she whispered, smiling through tears. Our little miracle. I stared at the baby's face. It felt so strange, like looking at a stranger who happened to wear my name. Margaret turned the pages, showing birthdays I missed, vacations I never went on, school photos of Caleb growing up alone. He looked lonely in everyone. You were always with us in our hearts, Margaret said, wiping her eyes. I tried to smile, but it hurt. Later, I went outside for some air. I needed space, a place to think. As I stood in the yard, Detective Harris pulled up in his car. Emma, he called gently. Can I talk to you for a moment? My chest tightened. Is this about Lydia? He nodded. She's asking to see you again. I swallowed hard. Why? She says she wants to tell you the truth about how she took you. My head spun. I already know how she took me. Detective Harris hesitated. She hinted there's more. Something about the Blake family. My heart stopped. What do you mean? She says she didn't act alone, he explained. That someone helped her, someone connected to your family. I felt dizzy. That can't be true. I know it's hard, Detective Harris said kindly. But if you want answers, you can visit her again. We'll protect you. That night I couldn't sleep. Someone in my real family helped kidnap me? Why? The next morning, I asked Margaret about it. Mom? I said carefully. Do you know if anyone in our family would ever want me gone? She looked shocked. Of course not. Why would you even ask that? I tried to explain, but the words felt heavy. Lydia told the police someone might have helped her. Someone close to you. Margaret's face went pale. That's not possible. But I could tell by her eyes that a piece of her wondered. In the afternoon, I went back to see Lydia in jail. I needed to know. She looked even smaller behind the glass, her hands twisting in her lap. When she saw me, she tried to smile. Emma, she breathed. Thank you for coming. Tell me, I said, voice firm. Tell me everything. Lydia nodded slowly. It wasn't just me. I couldn't have taken you alone. A nurse helped me. Someone from your mother's side. They wanted you gone. My stomach dropped. Who? I don't know her real name, Lydia said shakily. She said she worked for the Blakes. She told me the family didn't want you. My mind spun. No one wanted me? I shook my head. You're lying. Lydia leaned closer, tears on her cheeks. Emma, I swear, someone wanted you out of their lives. I took you before they could do worse. I felt sick. Was that true? Or was this another of Lydia's twisted stories? I stood up, too dizzy to stay. I can't do this, I whispered. Please believe me, Lydia cried as the guards led me away. Back at the Blake house, Margaret tried to comfort me, but I pulled away. My mind was on fire with questions. Had someone really wanted me gone? And if so, was I even safe here now? I couldn't rest after Lydia's warning about someone in the Blake family helping to kidnap me. I had to know. Late one night, I dug through old files in Richard's study. Old letters, receipts, hospital records. And then I found it. A bank transfer from my uncle, John Blake, to the same nurse who disappeared after I was taken. My hands shook. Why would my uncle pay a nurse right before I was kidnapped? Margaret saw me crying and demanded the truth. I showed her the records. She went pale. Oh, God, she whispered. He wanted to cover up a family scandal. What scandal? I asked, barely breathing. Margaret swallowed hard. Your uncle had a secret affair, and a child was born sick. He wanted to keep you away from the family so no one would question why only you were healthy. My stomach turned. They had hidden me to cover up a shameful secret and let Lydia steal me instead of helping. I felt cold and alone. The Blakes had betrayed me just like Lydia had. I couldn't trust either side fully. But I did know one thing. Lydia truly loved me, even if it was twisted. I asked the judge to show mercy. I wanted her out of prison. A month later, Lydia walked free on parole, tears streaming down her face when she saw me waiting. Emma, she cried, hugging me. I'm so sorry. I hugged her back. I know, but I still love you. Margaret agreed to help us both. She promised to send Lydia money every month so we wouldn't starve as long as Lydia stayed close and promised to live honestly. For now, Lydia moved into a small apartment not far away, and I visited her every day. Margaret came too, bringing food, trying to build some bridge between the past and the future. I realized I had two mothers, and neither was perfect, but both loved me in their own broken way. It wasn't the ending I expected, but maybe it was the only one I could live with, because after all these lies, only the truth could set me free.